I'm going to show you a couple of tips and tricks on how to outsmart the cog fog, brain fog. They're all the same. It's the same every single morning. Want to meet the most consistent animal on the planet? You can't go wrong with a border collie. And I wanted to show you some of the ways I deal with a really bad day with cog fog on how I just, and I wanted to show you, God, come on, Cliff, your brain. Come on, focus. And I wanted to show you how I deal with day-to-day tasks with the brain fog when even pouring cereal seems to be a challenge. Good morning, everybody. I'm Cliff. This is Life with MS. And today I'm talking about brain fog and decision making, a day in the life of brain fog and decision making with somebody living with MS. Now, why did I choose that topic today? Well, pretty much because I'm having terrible brain fog because of the heat outside. It is hot here in North Carolina and it is super humid, and I'm on antibiotics, and everything is just causing a lot of issues. And I thought it would be a fun topic to talk about while I'm dealing with brain fog. So you're probably going to see me skip around a little bit here because I'm doing everything I can to get my brain to function right, to actually get this message out and burning up some energy to do it. So who's this video for? Well, people that are newly diagnosed with multiple sclerosis that don't know what brain fog is, and also for people that have had multiple sclerosis for a while. Whew, man, this is taking a lot of energy. And for those of us who have had multiple sclerosis for a while and just need a point to relate to today on this very crazy Thursday. All right, so we know the everyday struggles of making everyday decisions when living with multiple sclerosis is, well, it can be completely overwhelming. Cog fog, brain fog really impacts daily living. Mine gets really bad when it gets hot. Now, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a healthcare provider, I'm a bald dude. Beep, boop, boop, beep on YouTube with multiple sclerosis, so none of this is medical advice. Talk to your neurologist to get real answers. All right, let's start off a day in the life of brain fog with multiple sclerosis and other chronic conditions like it. I have to decide what I'm going to wear. Show and tell time. I can choose this, I can choose that, I can choose this, or I can choose that. See that there? See that there? It took me 20 minutes this morning to figure out what I was going to wear for a shirt. I only have a handful of shirts. It's not that hard, people, but for some reason, I just sat there and stared at the pile. Why do I only have a handful of shirts? Well, so I don't have to make extra decisions in the morning. Ultimately, I chose this one because it was closest. And why do I have all those shirts that are like, well, that particular shirt is from a sponsor of ours that sponsors our MS bike ride. Maybe Steve Jobs had MS. He wore the same mock turtleneck every day. Ooh, conspiracy tinfoil hat time. Okay. And I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking, gee, Cliff, what's that on your face? Well, that's my nose, silly. Duh. Oh, that, yeah, yeah. So when it gets really hot out, I have arm spasms and leg spasms. They usually keep me up at night, that's super fun. It's like dancing unintentionally. Anyway, I'm shaving this morning, getting ready for you all, making sure I'm pretty and clean. And while I'm doing that, I have an arm spasm and a razor blade right to the nostril. Oh, oh, I hope that doesn't bleed. Oh, let's see what happens. No, not too bad. All right, maybe. We'll see. Wish me luck. I've discussed this before, but I've found there are a lot of areas in life we can simplify life. I'm going to show you a couple of tips and tricks on how to outsmart the cog fog, brain fog that I've developed throughout the years that help a lot. They're a little bit strange if you're not used to dealing with cog fog, but what you'll find is a reduction in energy expenditure and an increase in efficiency, which when you're dealing with brain fog and cog fog make a huge difference. All right, so starting off with the shoes, I buy the same pairs of shoes. I just threw away an older pair, but I had 3 pairs of the same shoes so that one that I wear on the days I mow the grass or the days that I go out in the woods, and then one that I wear to the stores and stuff that are much cleaner, but I never have to choose which shoes I'm going to wear because they're all the same. That's got to be like Howard Hughes level OCD or something, but really all it does is make it much easier. I know they fit, I know they're comfortable, and that's all I really care about. Want to know what I'm going to have for breakfast in the morning? Well, you're not going to have to think about it because I don't. It's the same every single morning. It's granola with a little bit of almond milk. I know how long it'll fuel me for. I don't have to wonder about when I'm going to have to eat lunch or if I'm going to get hungry throughout the day. I just know how my body reacts to it. So I do the same thing. Yeah, it's boring, but it's also one less level of management. How do I exercise on these hot days? On a stationary bike inside where I don't have to worry about navigating traffic, stoplights, or stop signs. Everything goes as planned, and I'm basically going in a straight line, and all I have to do is pedal. Less cognitive requirements, but I still get the exercise I need in a cool environment instead of sweating my butt off in the North Carolina heat. An older SUV. I drive an older car. This is a 2008. It doesn't have Bluetooth in it. It doesn't have fancy maps in it. It doesn't have any of that crap. You put the key in it and you hit the gas and go. And that's it. There's nothing tricky about it, and there's also no payments on it. So I don't have to think about any of that stuff. It just works. Want to meet the most consistent animal on the planet? You can't go wrong with a border collie. And last, but certainly not least in this episode, is one of my favorites, the bidet. Now, why don't we have this thing in America? What is America doing? Like, what's this thing with toilet paper? Like, it is just, when you're dealing with like chronic fatigue and other issues, like, why do we do things like that? It's such manual labor. So, yeah, I installed a bidet, and at first everybody looked at me like I was a freak of nature, but now everybody uses it because it's awesome. And it also saves a ton of money on toilet paper. They come in all shapes and sizes like butts. And with all of our issues with MS and bowel movement problems, why wouldn't you have one? It's just a good way to go. And how does a bidet relate to brain fog and cog fog? Well, anything you can do to make life a little bit easier on that day when your brain's not working means you can redirect energy to your brain instead of stupid menial little tasks like wiping your butt with paper. That just seems silly. So I hope you found those few easy tips helpful. They're not hard to do. And once you get in the habit of doing them, they've kind of become muscle memory, which is the nice part. You really don't think about them anymore. But there are a few other things I think really help with cog fog other than little tips and tricks, and that is reduce the stress, get good exercise, get good sleep, and eat right. Like all those things make a huge difference, at least in my experience. There is no one quick fix, but that seems to work really well. And the other thing that I've done for myself that has worked really well is I've joined my local MS support groups because those people really understand what I'm going through. You know, I can't explain cog fog or brain fog to someone who doesn't have MS or a chronic condition like MS. They just plain and simply don't get it. They think it's just like a little bit of confusion, like when you get that test at school that you didn't study for. It's just so hard to describe. And basically, I think my wife said it best. She says she can tell when I'm having cog fog or brain fog because I look like I have the 1,000-yard stare. The lights are on, but nobody's home kind of scenario in my head. So living with MS and things like brain fog is just learning to adapt, as I've discovered. You just adapt to your situation and make it work. And in future episodes, I'm going to share with you some ways in which I deal with the brain fog and the cog fog on the daily basis in a work scenario. That's where it gets very, very tricky. And I've found a few ways that really help, but that would make this particular video way too long. So make sure you subscribe, share, and like so you get notified next time I post, and some other people get to see this video and maybe it will help them. And if you're still confused about what brain fog is or cog fog is and the symptoms and the pathology behind it, I'm going to link some studies and explanations below. And last but not least, it's not the end of the world. We all find a way to work with it. Life doesn't look like it did 5 years ago living with MS, but maybe that's good. Maybe MS pushes us outside of our comfort zone and we discover things we never thought we could do. I know that's certainly what's happening with me almost every day. I hope you found this helpful. My name is Cliff. This is Life with MS. Until the next Cog Fog episode, I'm out.